Should the 10 Commandments be in schools? Now, Caroline, quick question. Don't tell me your opinion. I just want a factual answer from you. Did you have the 10 Commandments in your school when you were a little kid?
No, I did not.
So I was in public schools, 150 years ago, and I think we did have them. But we also said the pledge. Did you guys have to say the pledge?
Yeah, we said the pledge.
Yeah, I think the pledge is A+. I think you got to, learn a little history, say the pledge. Okay, now let's get into this. Should the 10 Commandments, are they going to be allowed is really the question. Your opinion on this case is not as relevant as what the Supreme Court's going to decide. They're going to be the ones that are going to decide. So let me tell you what's going to shake out on this. So there are states like Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, and some others that are really pushing to require that the 10 Commandments be in every public school classroom. Now, on the surface, the claims are this is just about instilling values in our students. But the reality is it triggers a constitutional minefield, all right? And the courts are already stepping in to stop it. But let's kind of get into it. So the claims are that this is going to create like moral and foundations for students, and the supporters are saying that displaying the 10 Commandments gives students morals and ethics and historical anchor in the foundations of values, right? That's what a lot of them are saying. And they're saying, and they're also making this claim, it's not religious, it's historical. I don't think those are mutually exclusive. All right. But it is an interesting argument. It's not religious, it's historical. And the advocates are saying the commandments are displayed for their cultural and legal significance, not religious instruction. I had not thought about the legal significance. I mean, a lot of our laws are based back in English common law, which goes back to literally the Bible and Protestant. So there are a lot of laws based in, in our country, the Bible. Okay. So legal significance. I just not heard that one before. Maybe I haven't been paying attention. Okay, but let's talk about what the courts are saying, because they're going to be the ultimate arbitrators of this. Now, let's go back to 1980. Caroline, were you born in 1980?
No,
Okay.
I was not.
She was not born yet. I remember the 80s well. All right. So there was a court case called Stone v. Graham, 1980. And this was the original ban where the Supreme Court struck down a Kentucky law that said you cannot require Kentucky law wanted to require the 10 Commandments posters be in every classroom. And the Supreme Court said there's no secular purpose and that posting them endorsed religion. So the result was that the law requiring the 10 Commandments was unconstitutional and you couldn't do it. And it's really important to understand that when the Supreme Court says something, that's the top court of the land, and it sets what's called precedent. It means every state, every federal court, every state court, everyone has to comply with that ruling. Now, just a little disclaimer on how the laws work. You have state courts and you have federal courts, right? And you can have state laws and you can have federal laws. Now, federal law will always trump state law, but oftentimes there are state laws where there is no federal law. Now, over the last 80, 90 years, we're getting more and more federal laws. We have that whole discussion later on. But it used to be states would have a lot more laws than the federal government. But if the federal government said something, the Supreme Court said something, it won. Now, there are also appellate courts directly under the Supreme Court. So you may have an appellate court say something, and all the courts in that grand division, all right? So like, let's assume that you're in the 10th appellate court, which is California, all these other states. Like, you got a bunch of states in that appellate court. All the states have got to play by those laws. The federal and the state ones have got to apply. But other appellate courts in other regions of the country didn't have to. And then sometimes when there's a conflict, it goes up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court makes the grand decision. Okay, so just remember that when we say it sets precedent for every state, not just Kentucky, even though it was a Kentucky state law. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, right? So in 2024, though, this was kind of challenged in a way. Louisiana passed HB 71, that stands for House Bill 71. And this was in June of 2024. And by November, a federal judge already blocked it, ruling it unconstitutional because of the precedent from Stone v. Graham in 1980. So they said in 1980, the Supreme Court already said this. It's already done. I don't even have to talk about it. It's over with. So now fast forward a year. Arkansas in June of, which is like now, right? In June of 25, 7 Arkansas families filed a lawsuit let me back up. Arkansas was trying to get the commandments up, but 7 families have already filed a lawsuit trying to block those 10 commandments coming up, citing Stone v. Graham. So Arkansas is attempting to do this. Texas is attempting to do this, and people are already suing to stop it. And once again, a court will take it up, and unless they're going to overturn Stone v. Graham. Now, it is possible the Supreme Court could overturn Stone v. Graham, but it has to go all the way up to the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court does not hear every case every year. They get to pick and choose. Typically, between those two appellate divisions, like fights between states, they like to hear those cases, or when a law like Roe v. Wade, okay, I don't want to get into that today. When those get overturned, it goes back up. The only person that can overturn the Supreme Court is the Supreme Court. Now, Congress could change the law a little bit and change it, but that's not exactly overturning. We're not going to do a whole legal premise today. But the only way that Stone v. Graham gets overturned is by Stone v. Graham. Arkansas cannot overturn it, right? So, and then Texas also, everybody's on board with this right now. Texas just passed Senate Bill 10. All right. And this required the commandments be posted in every public classroom, selecting, and they were very clear, selecting a very specific Protestant translation. Now, civil liberty groups like the ACLU have already announced plans for lawsuits, citing once again Stone v. Graham as precedent, because that's the law of the land as it stands today. So what are the stakes? Well, 5 million students in Texas, which is like 9,000 schools or something, this is going to impact them. So what's going to happen next? Okay, I got my crystal ball. It's over. It's behind the book. It's behind one of the books. My crystal ball is Stone v. Graham is still the precedent. Okay, and if that upsets you, we'll get ready for a fight all the way up to the Supreme Court, because it's going to have to go all the way up. And the people that want this law passed, that want to post the 10 Commandments, better have a really good reason to overturn Stone v. Graham that's different than what it used to be, or those 10 Commandments aren't going to be posted. And I'm not giving you my opinion if they should be posted or not posted. I'll let you. To me, it seems completely irrelevant in my life, because they're not going to be posted. Supreme Court's already decided on this, okay? And the courts have consistently blocked it since 1980. That means there were already opportunities to have the Supreme Court overturn Stone versus Graham, and they didn't do it. So in the end, these cases are probably going to head to the federal appeals courts. Whether or not it goes all the way back up to the Supreme Court is unlikely. But if it does, I think we better pay attention to it. All right, I hope you enjoyed your legal lesson for today. Next time, I'll try to get out of the law and give you something else. All right, thanks.